Welcome back to the channel. This is Coach Evans with Silver Films, and today we're bringing you more training camp breakdowns. I've been calling them position battles. In some instances, they're going to be position battles. In some instances, they are not, which is going to make the coach's job really hard if they do no preseason games. I talked about having 0 preseason games on my last stream, which I don't know where I heard it from, but I was correct in the chat box saying they were going to have 2. Now it looks like we're probably back to having 0 preseason games. So how's it going to play out for rookies? And first of all, the rookies that were not high draft choices are going to have to pray to make the team. People like my favorite, Rick Steiner, people like Stone, the UDFAs, they're going to have to really shine, because you can't even have as many people in camp as you originally had. So it's a tough year for UDFAs and late round draft picks to come out and try to make a team, because it's just tough. It's just tough. But you know, today we're going to work on the D line and the interior D line and the interior linebackers. Those are the 2 latest articles that came out by Clifton Brown. And as you see it on the screen, Clifton's article's up there. Clifton's a good writer, I think, from Baltimore. Pretty honest guy, knows his stuff from my point of view, and you know, he kind of keeps it real for the most part. I don't think he writes a lot of positive stuff, obviously because he works for him. But I think for the most part, he keeps it real with us and kind of gives us a true insight, not just I gotta kiss their butt because they signed my checks. But without further ado, let's get into this article of defensive line. Oh, before we get that, make sure your first time here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, put some in the chat box, super chat. What else we got? We got Patreon, we got PayPal, we got all that good stuff. It's all in the description. So if you want to be a part of that, want to support, do that. But let's get into the training camp breakdown. Defensive line. You got pictures of, who's this? Dalen Mack and Jihad Ward. So in the hunt, Calais Campbell, Aaron Crawford, Justin Ellis is 7th season, Juicy Ellis, Dalen Mack, Justin Matabuke, who's a rookie, Jihad Ward is in his 5th season, Broderick Washington Jr. is another rookie, Brandon Williams in his 8th season with Baltimore, and Derek Wolfe, which is a new guy we got from Denver. So I took a few notes on each one of those guys. I'm going to read to you before I read the rest of his article. So just off from what I was doing, for Calais Campbell, I say he played in all 16 games in all but 3 of his 9 years. So he's durable. He's rarely hurt. Played in all 16 games, all but 3 of his 9 years. 3. And so I think his lowest number of games played was 14. I think that's what I saw. But definitely he played in all 16 games, 6 of his 9 years. Aaron Crawford, he's a UDFA from North Carolina. I just don't think he's going to make it because of the reasons I spoke of earlier, and the fact that this D-line, this interior D-line is pretty darn good. And I think we're going to keep 4 or 5 is what I got written on the board right there over this shoulder. We're going to keep 4 or 5 is what I think. Juicy Ellis has not played many snaps in the past 2 years. He appeared in 10 games in the last 2 years. Dalen Mack, I didn't see much out of him. I don't think he even played last year, so it's still a question mark. He got competition now from his own teammate, who is Justin Matabuke. Matabuke is a rookie. We'll see what he can do. Make sure you go watch my scouting video on Justin Matabuke if you have not. She's one on my channel with Justin Matabuke at Texas A&M versus LSU, and LSU had a good center and guard. And basically the gist of that video is, go watch it. I ain't gonna tell you what the gist of it is. Go watch it. Jihad Ward. Jihad Ward came in with Fort and Bynes to help patch the defense after that second bad showing last year. So he's kind of a favorite to me because he helped put that defense back together after Cleveland kind of roughed us up in game 4, I think. Chubb had that long run, and Cleveland just did their thing against us. Broderick Washington Jr., another rookie. We just have to wait and see, what he going to do. We just don't know, and it's going to be tough with no count. Brandon Williams, his 8th season, run stuff and defense tackle, along with Calais Campbell, should shut down the run versus almost anybody. And then Derek Wolfe. Derek Wolfe, in my opinion, is the X factor that will make this line top tier. It's gonna make this D line top tier because of what he's the Rodman type dude. Can do the dirty work and keep our linebackers, whether it be young guys or old guys, clean, and to help when Calais gets doubled. Wolf can do his thing with solo blocks, and it's gonna help Judon, but we'll talk about that later on. But Wolf is the guy that I think is gonna make all this jail, and I don't think he's gonna have a lot of numbers. But he's going to be the guy that he going to come up with key sacks, key pressures, timely TFLs. He's going to be in the right place at the right time in crunch time. I think he's just going to all gel together because you can get run stuffing from Calais Campbell and Brandon, like on first down. Then when we in pass situations, you can slide Calais Campbell inside, put Wolf in there. Then you got Judon and whoever else decides to be the other pass rusher. So it's going to be up, like, pick your poison. All right, but let's go to the projected starters. Let's go to the article. Calais Campbell is the biggest part of Baltimore's defensive line makeover. He is one of the league's best run stoppers and has 88 career sacks. That combination has made Campbell a 5-time Pro Bowler. Derek Wolfe had a career-high 7 sacks last season, making him an important addition to a team that relied on blitzing to reach the quarterback. We blitzed too much last year. Too much. And didn't have enough sacks to quantify all the blitzing we did. Luckily, what allowed us to blitz like that, we had good DBs. We had good DBs that could cover for 3 to 5 seconds for the most part and not let guys get a lot of separation. That's what allowed us to blitz like that last year. Now, imagine how much better those DBs are going to be if we can get pressure with 4 or 3. Imagine how much better those DBs are going to be if we can get pressure with 3 or 4. All right. Best battle. Oh, I'm not finished with that. Here we go. Brandon Williams continues to anchor the defensive line as an immovable force who can occupy 2 blockers. The Ravens believe their new look line will be better at stopping the run while generating a more consistent pass rush, which is in gist what I just said. The best battle. See if we got that. Okay. There will be a competitive battle for reps behind Wolfe, Campbell, and Williams, who are all at least 30 years old. Others will have opportunities to shine because the coaching staff likes to rotate defensive linemen to keep them fresh. Ward and Ellis are both coming off solid 2019 seasons after joining the team last year. 3rd round pick Justin Matabuke has the talent to push the vets for reps if he has a strong preseason camp or a strong training camp. So we keeping 4 or 5. And before I talk about Matabuke, I just finished the article. Under the radar. This is a key season for Mac, a 5th round pick in 2019 who will need to step up to earn a spot in the defensive line rotation. The Ravens defensive line is deeper and more experienced than when Mac was drafted, and players often take a leap between their first and second seasons. And Mac will be looking to do the same. Now he's reunited with former Texas A&M Aggie Matabuke. Mac may need to beat out Ellis for a spot. So okay, let's say we keep 5 of these guys. Let's go back up to the list. Say we keep 5 of these guys. Let me write this down so I won't mess up. Say we keep Campbell. Keep Ward. Keep Brandon Williams, B. Will. That's 3. So let's say we keep it 2. Oh, Derek Wolfe. That's 4. So I think the battle is you got one more spot for the active roster. It's Aaron Crawford. I don't think he's gonna make it. Justin Ellis in the competition, Mack in the competition, Matabuke in the competition, Broderick Washington in the competition. I personally think Matabuke is gonna be the guy to take it. So if we go 5, I think Matabuke would be 1. and I think Broderick Washington will be the other. So if we go 5, Madubuike will be 5. If we go 6, which may or may not happen, I think Washington will be the guy. So with saying all that, Mac is not in. I don't think he's gonna make it. Return of the Mac, no. Mac's gonna be out of there. He's gonna be out of there. The only thing that's gonna help Mac is he was on the team last year, and these other guys won't get off like preseason games to show what they got. I think that's the only thing that's gonna help Mac, which may keep him in that top 5 or 6. But if they some kind of way find a way to evaluate them equally, I think Madubuike and Brandon Williams may give Mac a run for his money. I just don't think Ellis is going to be there because of he's an older guy. His other 3 guys in their first or second year. And if they're equal, you always take the young guy. If their talent level is equal, you always take the younger guy. So that's why I think Justin Ellis is out of there. Madubuike, Mac, Madubuike, Mac, and Broderick Washington going to fight for that 1 spot. And if it's 2 spots, those same guys will fight for those 2 spots. All right. Move on to inside linebacker. Let me turn this fan on. It's hot now. Alright, back. Training camp inside linebackers. So on the screen we got Malik Harrison, we got LJ Fort, and we got Patrick Queen. 2 guys. Well, all 3 guys were not on the roster when the season started last year. All 3. We're going to heavily rely on 3 guys at a key position that were not on the roster last year. Initially. All right, let's go. In the hunt. Otara Olaka. His 2nd season. Chris Boyd, 3rd. LJ Fort, 9th. Malik Harrison, rookie. Patrick Queen, rookie. Christian Welch, rookie. Undrafted rookie. UDFA. All right, projected starters. The Ravens drafted Queen 28 overall, believing he could start immediately. That's tough. That opinion hasn't changed during this unusual offseason. Queen has the versatility to be an every down linebacker, and the Ravens defensive coordinator Wink Martindale mentioned recently that Queen learns quickly and doesn't repeat errors. How did he know that? How does he know that? Honestly, no, not throwing shade, but no rookie minicamp, no OTAs, none of that stuff. Is he saying that just off conversation or what? But anyway, moving on. If that continues once he takes the field on camp, Queen should start week 1. And I think that's why they drafted him first rounder. Hey, young fella, here you go. Here are the keys to ILB. Go do your thing. All right, 3rd round pick, Malik Harrison. Is a physical linebacker and athletic. Keep in mind, I thought he was just physical initially too. He's physical and athletic. With the instincts and tackling ability to improve Baltimore's run defense. I think the 2 best tacklers in this draft class was Malik Harrison and Evan Weaver from Cal. But I think that's all Evan Weaver could do is tackle. I don't think he could cover nobody right now. Not in the NFL. But that's my 2 cents. And somebody argue me up and down, but hey, his draft status proved me right. 3rd round pick, we got that. Even though he's not a 3-down linebacker, he could be. Harrison may start next to Queen and give the Ravens a run defense more speed than last year. Did I read that wrong? Ravens run defense more speed than last year. Okay. He's 4 started 8 games last year and will be prepared to do so again. So, I don't think Fort's going to get that job up easily. I think, let's talk about the best battle. Fort won't surrender a starting spot without a challenge. He played consistently after being signed in week 5, which was after that Cleveland Browns fiasco when him and Bynes and Jahad Ward came, and earned a contract extension. Fort's experience is valuable. He's a savvy blitzer. He gives the Ravens a reliable option if either Queen or Harrison aren't ready early. Having Fort in the linebacker room is a plus whether he starts or not, which I agree with. Whether he starts or not, he's going to be able to mentor those other 2 guys and teach them how to be professionals. And I really don't think he's going to give up one of them spots. I think when we're in our base 3-4 stuff, he'll be in there initially. Again, keep in mind we probably won't have a preseason game. So you want to go with a guy that you can kind of trust. Not to say you can't trust Malik, but you don't want two rookies in there to start off with. You want to at least let them work their way in and get their feet wet. All right. And under the radar, this camp should tell a lot about Boyd. He was in the running for a starting job during training camp last year, but lost momentum following a preseason concussion. Boyd remained a consistent contributor on special teams, but he played just 6.5% of defensive snaps last season, which was almost none. It would be a challenge for Boyd to earn more action in his third season. And going back up to this list, I say we keep 4 of these guys. We keep 4 of them. And to me, 3 of them are obvious. And then the real battle, to me, is Olaka and Chris Boyd. A lot of people like Olaka. I know he did special team stuff too. Like I said, Boyd was one of the front runners to try to get some PT last year before he had that preseason concussion. The 4 guys we're gonna keep: Fort, Harrison, Queen, and it's really tough to say with this 4th guy. Fort, Harrison, and Queen are locks to me. And I'm really gonna go with Olaka. And the reason I'm going to go with Olaka, again, if Olaka and Boyd are close to the same as far as their abilities and what they can do and their speed and their instincts and their leadership ability, you go with the young guy. It's just like even in high school. You got a senior and a sophomore that can do the same thing and are equal as far as talent and play. You go with the young guy. Because you can develop him and have him for 2 more years. In this case, maybe 2 more years, depending on how his contract is shaped. But those are the 2 breakdowns for today. I'm gonna add in a little extra stuff that I didn't talk about earlier. I watched it yesterday on YouTube. Let's go to this, and we're gonna talk about the top 5 for a quick second. I ain't gonna hold you long. The Ravens gave out their 25 greatest games. I just want to talk about the top 5. Their number 1 game was the Jacoby Jones Mile High Miracle game. That was not my number 1. I would have never thought that would have been number 1. I thought it would have been in the top 5, but I never thought that would have been their number 1. I thought one of the Super Bowls would have been number 1. The top 5 for me is that they got the Jacoby Jones game right here. They got the Super Bowl versus the 49ers here. The AFC Championship game versus the Pats. When they were, at that time, they were kind of beating us. The Titans game, I think this is the game where Ray Lewis kind of broke down Eddie George, and they got the other Super Bowl. I wouldn't necessarily have them in that order. My number 1 game probably would have been the first Super Bowl. My number 1 would probably be number 5. The first Super Bowl. My number 2 would have probably been the second Super Bowl. My number 3 would have been the Mile High Miracle. That would have been my number 3. My number 4 would have been the game we would have the same number 4 because Ray Lewis just pretty much obliterated Eddie George. But my number 5 game would have been the very first Ravens game, which I think they pulled out a victory. That would have been my top 5. 5 would have been the Ravens' very first game, like from moving to Baltimore. 4 would have been the game they have number 4, which is the AFC divisional round. They beat Tennessee 24-10. Number 3 would have been the Mile High Miracle. Number 2 would have been the second Super Bowl. And number 1 would have been the first Super Bowl. Because you only became a franchise technically in 95, I think. And you have a Super Bowl in your belt in 2001. That's 6 years. That's crazy for a franchise. You technically become a franchise in 95 or 94. And you have a Super Bowl 6 or 7 years later. That's crazy. But I don't want to keep y'all too long. I want to hold you too long. Middle of the day stream, just a pop-up. Wasn't planned. I wasn't doing nothing, so I decided to stream and come to you. So, again, if it's your first time here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate everybody, all my Patreon subs, everybody put stuff in the chat box. Not Snapchat, Super Chats, PayPal, Cash App. Everybody that donate to the channel, you see a few upgrades coming, and I appreciate you guys. And those donations are going straight back into the channel. I got a few more things in the works. I'm trying to get some overlays and whatnot, and just to change it up, spice it up a little bit, get a little bit more spicy. But I appreciate you guys for coming out. Thank you for coming. God bless you. See you when I see you. Peace.